Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious. I'm Monk, and today we are in Age of Wonders 4, guys, and this is the first episode within our Let's Play series. Yes, that's right, we're going to start our own Let's Play series on console, and we're going to have an absolute bubble. So let's go down into some realm options. Now we're going to try and make this hard. I'm going to try and not win by a magic victory. However, I am going to leave magic victory as an option. So is it going to be something we're going to be able to do? Well, hopefully, yes. I'm going to make sure that we landlock it, and we're going to give ourselves another hard thing as well. What we're going to do is we're actually going to make sure we fill up every single trait that this has to offer. So we're going to try and make this a little bit of a complicated map, certainly not straightforward. We're going to try and make it a little bit hard for us. Filling out all 8 traits could be a little bit problematic. Just trying to find a realm type trait that we can add, that possibly we can use to our advantage, or you know, maybe it can be a bit of a hazard as well. Now, if you do end up enjoying this playthrough, please feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We do plan on putting out more Age of Wonders 4 content. And throughout this playthrough, I will be explaining what and why I am doing things. This is hopefully a beginner's guide and hopefully a bit of entertainment as well. So I'm going to be explaining, you know, what I'm going for, why I'm going for it. And hopefully, you know, we're going to grow and have fun along the way. Am I going to make mistakes? Absolutely. That's kind of one of the things about Age of Wonders 4 that I love so much. You know, your playthroughs can make a wild ride quite often. What is this one? Dragon infestation. So I really like the dragons, popping the dragons in. I think it adds a little bit to it. The combat's quite fun with these as well. So let's add that one in. Now, Artisan Kings. This is one of my favorite mods to add because it basically spawns 2 very powerful kingdoms in the game. I say very powerful, it turns their difficulty up. We're going to leave it on normal difficulty as that's what most people are going to be running. We're also going to boost the free cities in the game, and why this is both good for us and bad is because the Artisan Kings actually start with a free city vassaled to them. So it means they're going to get an even more of a buff, and to make it even harder for ourselves, the very first free city that we actually meet, we are going to go to war with. So not only are we kind of, you know, making those free cities harder and tougher and, you know, better off the start, we have given 2 of them to already powerful allies, and we have to go to war with the very first one that we meet. So we really are going to try and make this a little bit of a tough playthrough. I wouldn't recommend it. Typically the free cities are very powerful allies, and I will probably try, if I manage to beat them in war, to, you know, we're figure saying how, either vassalize them or maybe take them control. We'll see where we go with the faction creation. Giantism, I like that one. Basically, you kind of make all of the things on the map even larger and bigger and more ferocious. So I quite like that. It does make it a little bit tougher because the random AI spawned are a little bit tougher. Gonna boost their city-states, just like we said. We got Bannerlords earlier, which kind of, it makes having those free city-states even better because we're going to be able to get more troops from them. And we have also set the player distance to far, trying to give ourselves the biggest map possible. Now, when it comes to the 2 Artisan Kings, I have the perfect people. We have got this guy right here. I actually done a full faction build for him. And I think what we're going to do now is actually add in one of my favorite faction builds of all time, Darth Nihilus. Yes, we're going to add him into. That's a very, very fun build. I actually like both of these builds. They're very, very strong. I think giving them as the Artisan Kings could be rather difficult. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays and if we're actually able to complete this playthrough. Now, as with any of my playthroughs that I've ever done on this channel, if we fail, well, we have failed, and that will stay put, and that will end our playthrough. I'm hoping that it doesn't fail and we have an absolute hoot. But yeah, I think that this is gonna be rather tough, and I think we've set it up for a pretty fun let's play. Certainly not as straightforward as perhaps it could have been. Now you can actually fill up every single faction, which is pretty cool. I have some pretty interesting builds that I like, so I don't mind adding a couple. However, we do have to leave at least one free because that's going to be us. And although the game does provide us some pretty awesome options, Gandalf the Evolved. Now this guy is really cool. So Gandalf the Evolved is a faction build that I made for a secret achievement. Basically, he's Gandalf and he is leading the hobbits. You get a secret achievement if you manage to complete the game with him. So yeah, so we got a load of our own custom characters in. Now it's time for us to actually make our own people. I'm trying to think where to go for this. I feel like possibly Orc, but I think I might go human. I think we're going to go dark, we're going to go evil, and I feel like going Astral and possibly Shadow would be pretty cool. Now, Keen-Sighted is a good one because it buffs the accuracy of both ranged and magic attacks. Now, as we're going to go quite magic, I think that's going to go pretty good. And of course, we've gone for Arcane Focus for that extra boost in damage to magic attacks as well. So we're keeping the theme running there. Now, when it comes to culture, I'm not sure again what to pick. I think going for either the Astral guys or the Dark would be good. Astral looks pretty cool. I haven't really used these guys at all. I mean, the official reading is Mystic, but I've never actually used them. So it's going to be interesting to play as them. They do have some pretty good buffs here. They get buffs to mana, they get buffs to knowledge. So I feel like these are the guys that are going to be able to get us through those tomes rather quickly, getting those better technologies. Now, our society traits, we get to pick 2. Now, we've already got 2 points within Astral. So I need to pick something that's going to be a little bit different and offer us something that we're lacking. Prolific Swarmers is a great option. I'm a big fan of Prolific Swarmers actually with a lot of my builds, just because they enable you to pump out so many of those tier 1 troops. However, I don't think it's going to be a particularly good fit for us this time around. Wise Ones again is a pretty good option. But, oh, Mana Addicts, that could be a good one. We could have fun here, but we have already got 2 points within Astral. Silver-Tongued. Now, remember when I said we're going to go to war with the very first free city we meet? Well, if we do actually manage to vassalize one of them, Silver-Tongues allows us to manipulate that vassalization. We're going to be able to get extra resources through trade, and it's not going to cost us anything at all. So I really like that one. If you don't have that in your list, don't panic, guys. You actually unlock that through your Pantheon. So play the game and work to unlock it, and you will have it in absolute no time. Again, Scourge of Evil is a great one. We're going to get a ton of different buffs here. We're going to get extra Imperium, which is going to be really handy because I'm going to use that Imperium to kind of boost the population of our troops, or sorry, of our cities. Now, Tome of Cryomancy is where I think we're going to go with this, because this is a really interesting path and it enables us to use a few different things that we haven't used in previous builds. So I'm trying to do something a little bit different on the channel, trying to do something a little bit unique, but it does offer some pretty good avenues for us a little bit later. Now, obviously, we have the choice between a champion or a wizard king. We're going to go with a wizard king just because it gives us that extra mana, and as we're going to go for quite a magical build, remember we go in astral and we've gone for shadow, we're going to need as much mana as possible, and of course casting points are going to be really important as well. So now we have the all-important task of actually creating our main hero, or the leader of our faction, and of course our first hero. Now I want him looking rather sinister and rather dark. I'm thinking and envisioning kind of Game of Thrones vibes, you know, the dead men beyond the walls. I think it fits in quite well with the cryomancy as well, so yeah, I think that's where we're going to go. Oh, the skull. I did actually have someone comment on one of my other videos about how to actually get the skull to appear. So if you're watching right now, you saw it in the head compartment. Try and get those. We need no hair at all. Can't remember what that guy was called in Game of Thrones, to be fair, the leader of the dead guys. But we're going to try and get it looking ish like him. He was quite tall and skinny and definitely bald. I do like the customization options in this game. There's some pretty sick things you can pick from. And of course you get to unlock a lot more throughout the Pantheon as well, which again is pretty cool. Gives you an incentive to keep playing. Oh, I quite like that. No cape needed, just got some shoulder pads. Kind of wish there was a few more options in colors, however. This game does give you a huge ton of diversity when it comes to customization options, but it would be nice for a little bit more. I'm not actually liking the way our troops look. I kind of wish perhaps we went down the dark route instead, but these are pretty tough. You know, the astral, you go mystic rather. The mystic culture does offer some really good buffs, so it's definitely worth going down. It's just that visually I would like to tweak them a little bit. Let's pick a nice one. Now you do a little bit of a note here. You do actually need to do different colored banners if you stick all of your banners to black. When it comes to actually popping them all on the map at the same time, the game's going to have an issue and it's going to ask you to change these. So heads up, get a little bit of variety is a good thing, but of course that does affect your starting color. So if you want to look a certain way, then feel free. Another thing I would say is that throughout this playthrough, I'm going to be telling you exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why I think that that is the best option to do. Now, I would not recommend you guys or anyone mid-maxing this game if you've never played before. The beautiful thing about Age of Wonders 4 is the fact that you can do whatever the hell you want. There's no right or wrong way. There can be slightly better ways and slightly worse ways, but at the end of the day, you can complete this game any way you want. So when I say something, please don't take it gospel. have fun, do what you want. I'm just merely trying to guide you and give you some rough idea if you've never played the game before, or of course just be entertaining. And in case anyone was wondering, as I have had people comment, I'm actually playing on the Xbox Series S. Now, so far, I haven't really had too many problems. It can get a little bit laggy. I did have some dashboards when I very first played the game, but since the latest patch, it's been absolutely perfect. No real issues whatsoever. So when you start playing this game and initially boom go, I would recommend scouting. Scouting is so important, and there's actually an auto scout feature with your scouts as well. I would make the most of this. Typically you do always start with at least one scout depending on what you've done throughout your build, though you could start with two. So have a little look-see at the troops the game actually gives you in the first place. Now, because I am the Mystics, I've got no cavalry units, so even my scouts aren't on horses, just in case you were wondering. But as you can see, we still have that auto scout feature. Now, I know a lot of people may be worried about the auto scout because, hey, they may not go to right places, they may run straight into enemies. In my experience, the auto scouts is very, very useful. They seem to be able to reveal the map in the quickest time without you ever needing to look at them again. They will also pick up any resources that are on the map and obvious to them. The AI pathfinding is actually very, very good and needs to be commended because Paradox done an amazing job with that. And so, yeah, I would recommend the auto scouting because it's just convenient. Now, I've got to say, playing with Artists and Kings, I do think this is going to be quite a tough playthrough. I've played with them a couple of times now, and it's always been rather interesting. And I haven't really done an astral playthrough either, so perhaps going down that route, maybe going down a shadow route, I don't know which way we're going to go yet, but it's going to be a really interesting combination. I feel like we're going to be quite a powerful enemy, for the others to take on, but those Artisan Kings, they're going to be tricksy. Trying to decide what my first good building should be. I feel like this offers us, but I would also like the library as well. We're going to go for both. We're going to line them both up, but we're going to pop this one down. It gives us a good amount of production, a little bit of draft and mana as well. So it's going to take 7 turns, but it is what it is. The other players are moving. I'm not looking forward to meeting Darth Nihilus on the field, I've got to be said. I reckon these spiders need to be taken care of. So we're going to line it up to attack them on the next turn. You can see the auto paths there. Went straight to the goods, 2 out of 2. Well done them. Now what we just done then is used Imperium to boost the population of our cities. Now in previous videos I've always stated that having more food is great because that will drive up the population of your city faster. The other thing you can do is use your very own Imperium to buy an extra population for your city, especially early game. It's not going to cost you too much. It's quite free and easy. A lot of the first beginner perks sometimes aren't something you need to think too much about or save up too much Imperium for. We've already said we're going to go to war with the first free city as well, so again I'm not going to need Imperium to boost relations or vassalize them off the bat. So using my Imperium to boost my population is a pretty easy thing for us to do. It gives us that free province nice and early. So we are up against 3 troops. And it should be pretty straightforward for us. A pretty easy battle. Hopefully we don't lose any units because we're just going to have to replace them. And I'd prefer not to have to spend gold on making too many troops at the beginning of the game. Let's set them up nice and defensive. We've only got a 50% chance to attack them, but if we move, you can see our percentage chance does go up quite nicely. And there we go, we got a nice hit on them then too. Now let's move our boss into position and see. As you can see, when we move him around, we also get a percentage chance for hitting. Of course, we do have a melee attack as well. And now we've got another ranged unit too. Good. So we managed to really injure them off the bat, which is cool. They did do an area of effect, a very nice area of effect attack, mind. Looks like they're trying to flank us. We are flanked officially. Flanking enemies is something really useful if you manage to achieve. Gives you that extra damage buff. Nice little hit. See if we can finish them off now. I do quite like ranged units. They're pretty good. There's some decent ranged units in this game as well. However, sometimes it can be really frustrating trying to find a decent percentage chance to hit an opponent. 40% is not good. If you've ever played XCOM, you know there's not even any point. That game sucked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love XCOM, just to clear it out, just in case anyone goes at me in the comments. Loved XCOM. XCOM 2, for me, is possibly one of the greatest games of all time. Now, there's only 2 enemies left, which is pretty cool for us. We're definitely outnumbering them. It should be a nice, easy win. I would actually recommend using the auto battle feature within this game. We'd use it on our next go, but the auto attack is actually very, very good. Now, typically your troops will sustain a little bit more damage than they would if you would to manually fight the battles. But the auto attack, it just feels so right sometimes, especially if you're gonna very, very easily, win against the enemy. If it comes up saying this is a safe battle, then you probably don't need to waste your chance or your time on that battle, unless you particularly love the turn-based combat. Personally, I do love the turn-based combat, but we will be practicing a little bit of simulating the battles and, of course, playing the battles out themselves too. I think anything that's just a safe battle is just a waste of time. Let's see if we can... We're not going to finish him off, but I should be able to do a little bit of damage. Where can we hit from? Trying to find that magic number sometimes can be a little bit frustrating. Oosh, but we managed to hit even with a low percentage. I feel like this game is a little bit fairer than XCOM as well. But that's just me. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Actually, let me know how your games have been going. This game's been out for a while now, so people should be well and truly into the campaign, possibly even finish the story mode. What do you think about this game? Is this everything that you hope for? Are you looking forward to the DLCs and the extra content still to come? It was a nice, easy battle for us. It looks like we have actually just discovered a free city, which is very cool. This is the first free city that we have seen. It's not terribly far from us as well. This is pretty much on our doorstep. So again, that was found by the auto roaming peoples that we have going on. Now, I have actually given them my whispering stone or whisper stone and started building relations with them, which typically is something that I would recommend most players do. Just noting it, the free cities are incredibly strong, and it's so easy to gain a vassal early on in your games. If you're lucky enough to find a free city, as we just did, give them the Whisper Stone, allow a little bit of time to pass, you get some pretty decent missions from them and bonuses from them, you know, just building up your relationships with them. So I would recommend it. As promised though, I will go to war with them, and we're not going to do that, but just thought I'd put it in. As I mentioned, this is a bit of a beginner's guide as well. So we have unlocked another province, so we need to look around to see what we have available to us. Certain provinces may already have like a gold vein or something like that. Another thing I would recommend is to find a building you perhaps want to build, and then look at the bottom where it says what you need to have within a province in order to boost that building. In this case, we need a forester. And as we've now just unlocked a province with a forester, that building is now sped up and boosted for us. When it is boosted, it will cost less and it will be quicker to build. So keep an eye out for that. It can be a really good hack to kind of help your empire grow. Now we are starting to get a few affinity points, but I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. We've been spending our Imperium anyway, so can't afford to pick up a perk just yet. See what the enemy does. They do take a little bit of a time to walk sometimes. So it looks like we've actually found another race as well. Again, this has to be down to our scouts. They are on auto movement, of course, so they have found us an extra AI civilization. This isn't one of the artisan kings, however, which is really good for us. So it means that they're not too close. And now, if you remember, we just moved our troops. So these should belong to the free city. It's given us a few different options to kind of build relations with them. It is going to cost us gold in order to do that. But we said we're going to go to war, right? So that's what we're going to do. This is a safe battle. So we're going to simulate that battle. But yeah, should be nice and safe, and we should win pretty easy. And we did. We did suffer a little bit of damage, but nothing bad. We got a little bit of mana then as well. And of course, we are now at war with that free city. So to cap it off, we have made a realm, made a faction, which I'm actually quite excited for. Gone to war with the free city and met a neighbor AI as well, and we even gave him a little gifty. Giving him a gift was to help build relations, and hopefully in time we're going to be able to perhaps have a little ally there. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we will see how this playthrough actually goes. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed episode 1 of our playthrough. If you have, let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. We're going to be releasing half-an-hour episodes every single week, so it'd be really good to see you guys coming along, and just let me know how your playthrough is going as we play through ours. But until next time, I've been a Monk, we've been a Critic Kulis, and I'll see you in the next episode real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.